Alright, so today I figured what I'm going to do is upgrade my lab power supply that I had crudely built about a year or two ago. As you can see, I had briefly taken it apart since I'm kind of short a hand, so I had to do this a little bit closer to me so you guys wouldn't have been able to see. So it's based on an LM317 on this one, and had made a bridge rectifier to convert everything out of the power supply. So, in the meantime, what I need to do is I have to start removing everything here. I have hooked up for the new supply I'm going to be putting in. Okay. So these are still good parts, so I'm definitely going to be keeping these for any other projects. The bridge rectifier is going to be the same thing. I'm going to keep a hold of this. A lot of these circuits you can actually find diagrammed online, which is what I did. So these are none of like original designs or anything, and you can see how I soldered everything on the bottom of my circuit board here, prototype board I should say. But what I need to do is remove this wire for the display for the current, which is just kind of tacked in right here. There we go. So that's all of the old pieces removed so far. Now what I also now need to do is the old potentiometer I have right up front here is no longer going to be used. So we have to get rid of that for the new setup. I definitely put this on a lot tighter than I thought. But from when I started learning how to do all this, because I'm still a amateur when it comes to all this stuff, I don't know everything. I can't even tell you half of the stuff off the top of my head without looking everything up. But it's definitely been real fun doing all of this, learning something new. There we go. So again, the potentiometer is still going to be used for other projects because there's no sense in throwing away anything that's not broken, obviously. So, get rid of all the junk. So what you see here is you got your volt and amp meter and the plugs. I can't remember the exact terminology for these, but these I took off of old speaker system. So that's what I'm using for my positive and negative terminals here. So as long as I have the room, which I should, is what is going to be going in there is one of these kits you can buy to put together yourself to get 0 to 30 volts, and I believe it's either up to 3 amps, 2 to 3 amps for little projects, nothing more unless you want to build anything bigger one day, but right now this is all I need. So, and there's new potentiometers, one for the voltage, one for the current. So before I get that in there, put that, get rid of those. Make sure those the same size since I just dropped it. Yeah, it looks like it. So, and this D1047 chip, I believe it's an amplifier chip. I'm not 100% sure, or a triac. I can't remember off the top of my head. Like I said, I don't know everything about this stuff yet, so. But I know the heatsink on here is pretty small, but the reason being is what should cool this enough is I have a AC fan that runs at 120 volts that I have tied it directly into the power coming in. So as soon as I flip the switch, all of this is going to come on, and this blows cold enough that it should keep the heatsink cool for this chip here. So let's see if we can get. I usually just use double-sided tape to keep everything stuck down. It seems to work for everything that I do. So I'm definitely going to add a little bit more as soon as I find my knife here. Where did I put it? Alright, hold on one second. Okay. Just use my precision knife set here to do all this. So all you need is just, you don't need anything long to go in, just enough to hold it down. Right there. I'll put another piece right on top of that one. Alright, and the paper you guys see sitting right inside there is the installation that was from the computer power supply that I disassembled to use the case for. So I figured I'd just keep that in just to make sure that it still insulated everything on the bottom, so nothing touched and grounded out. So the biggest concern that I have about doing this is I may end up blowing up my supply because I'm not sure exactly how to hook up the gauge here. Not necessarily blow the supply up, but maybe just the front gauge, because the directions aren't too clear for me to understand, as again I'm still learning all this. So I hope I hook all this stuff up correctly to make sure I have room. Oh, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. So what I need to do first is hook up my wires to everything. So that's the only way this is going to work. And now I just hope that I have room inside with all this hooked up. Okay. Okay. I think I might have gotten ahead of myself here. AC coming in. Need that hole there. So that's not long enough. And that's definitely not long enough. So this is going to have to get extended. And I don't know if I have any wires that are that thick. Alright, well, let me pause here and come back, and hopefully I'll have a different setup here. Alright, so I'm back. Figured out what I had done wrong. Well, not necessarily wrong, but didn't quite have enough room for what I needed. So, right now you can see I have the board inside. I had to extend this ground wire. Had to attach this ground wire. And added the wire for, I believe, the current indicator. Which, if I remember right, is going to go right around the bridge rectifiers over here. So, hopefully I have that in the right spot. If not that, I'm going to be blowing up my display or this, so you live and you learn. But right now what I'm going to do is going to hook up, oh well, don't really have enough room for any of that. Didn't anticipate that. Jesus. Alright, so one of them I can get hooked up. Let's put that one right there. Don't want to have to pause this again. So, get my little pliers out again. Hurts to do it with that arm. Alright. See, what you guys are seeing is pretty much how any amateur goes about figuring this stuff out as you're starting out. Alright, so that's in there. Problem is now I need to make a hole for the next one, which I will try right here. See how that turns out. Probably ruining my cutters, but need to do something. Let's see, how much shorter is that? That's still, yeah. If I remove one corner, maybe that'll be just enough. Let's get that in. Yep. Problem is now it doesn't clear the threads. So, do a little bit more trimming, see how well this goes. Just need to clear the threads. Very temperamental. One more area. Okay. And let's see where we're at. Come on. Literally have to trim down every little possible corner for this to fit. I just hope I don't take too much out. Oh yes, there we go. Perfect. All right. All right. Now those are a little off-centered, but Hey, this is going to be a temporary case, so I'll be making a lot better one to hold all this stuff in the future, so not too worried about looks right now. Just need it to be functional. Alright. Now, I think the only thing left is to hook up our ground. Turn this over here. Okay. I believe this is all we got left. Ooh. Positive. Okay. Gotta trim that down. Okay. For positive. And that didn't hold worth a damn. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. And we got our ground wire. Now the kit that I'm using here, I got off eBay. It was actually pretty inexpensive. It's, I guess, a knockoff of the Highland one. But the issue I ran into with my kit when I put it together was I had a lot of missing parts. Luckily, I had some stuff around the house that I was able to complete the kit with the proper parts. So when ordering stuff like that, always make sure that as soon as you get it, you check out all the parts before putting it together, so you can either send it back and get a replacement or get a refund. Probably gonna use a couple of zip ties here again to kind of hold these out of the way. Because I gotta be able to have the lid for this to close. So just make sure they're out of the way. Doesn't have to be special, tight, or anything, just kind of held up. And that's just the, I'll get another zip tie just to hold that out of the way, so that doesn't end up grounding on anything from the transformer. Because it's obviously not needed for what I use this for, so there we go. Alright, so I'm going to double check everything. I believe everything is hooked up, grounded. All the connections are tight. Nothing's popped out, what I can see. It's still in. Alright. The moment of truth is plugging this in and seeing if it works. Things may go pop or not. But let's see if I can get this held up so you guys can see. All right. Moment of truth. Okay. All right. The AC fan's going good. It looks like I have nothing reading on, as you guys can see, I got nothing reading on my current, so I don't know if I have something in the wrong spot, because that's not coming on at all. You can see my voltage is going up, and I think it stops at about 26 volts, which is good for what I use everything for, but still nothing for my... That's weird, and it just cuts it all the way down to 0 for my current. Yep, that is cool to the touch. It's not getting hot. So the fan's definitely working and doing its job. But I still need to figure out my current sense wire. Alright. So I'm going to have to take a minute and figure this out to see what and where I hooked up something wrong. I'll be right back. Alright, I believe I figured it out. My current sense wire here had it hooked up in a wrong spot, like I figured I probably did, so I had to do some checking again, and I believe it's right now. I have it on the output to read the current coming out. That's being fed over to my terminal posts here. So if this works right, I should be able to adjust the current, and it should read on the display now. Moment of truth again. See what happens. Oh wow, I got nothing on my panel now. I wonder why that is. Well, ain't that a bummer? I honestly don't know what's going on. Let's see if we can figure this out. So, I do know that this is the one I added down here. So, let's just hook up. Let's see what happens then. Yeah, still nothing. Huh. Obviously, I got something hooked up wrong. Let's see if we can figure this out. But you know what? There's so many different ways to hook up these gauges. And I know that since I removed the red wire, nothing shows up on the screen now. So nothing's coming out. So the other option is cut the ground wire for the little sense here and see if that will bring it back. Because if it doesn't, then I'm at a loss. Oh, yep, we got something. Okay, watch. But the thing is see, I still can't adjust my current level. Alright, well, maybe you guys will be able to help see what I'm doing wrong. Let me turn this off. The gauge has 3 wires. You got the red, the black, and the yellow. Then you also have your main wires here. This one I have going down to the negative terminal post. This one's going over to the negative output over here. The red wire at the moment I have hooked up at the positive over here. And the yellow is going down to the positive post in the front. So, I hope somebody will be able to help me out here, but well, hope you guys appreciate the video. Again, let me know in the comments if I did what I did wrong. And if you like the video, hit the like, subscribe, whichever you guys choose to do. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much.